When your closest town is over 100 kilometres away, you're bogged down with little kids in the middle of a drought, and you feel if only you could take some time out for yourself, things would look better. What can you do? Well, never fear, because Joy McClymont is here. Joy lives on a property not so near to Longreach and has lived that experience. With no gyms or fitness classes nearby, she decided to create her own online fitness community, Off the Track Training. Joy's Fitness Hub lives by the no excuses mantra, and from small beginnings now supports and inspires women right across the country to live fitter, healthier lives. So thank you very much, Joy, for taking time to sit with me.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Tell me how the Fitness Hub and Off the Track Training came about.
Well, I can remember the day that I decided to start Off the Track Training, and I was running down the road post-baby comeback number 1. So I've got 4 children. This was the first time I had to bounce back after a baby and try and get some of that strength back. You know, every baby you have, you sort of lose a little bit of that energy, that spice, that strength and belief in yourself to be able to still move and shake like you used to. Yeah. Well, this was my first session, my first run. I was going for a run, but it ended up being a walk. And I remember thinking, I've got 3 bras on, 1,000 flies, it's hot, and I'm in the middle of nowhere and no one's coming for a run with me. I honestly found it so hard, and I was somebody who loved exercise. I loved sport. I was so physically fit. Sport was just part of who I was, and I found it difficult to exercise and to prioritise myself. And that was the time when I really thought, if I find it hard, imagine what it's like for people who don't have any idea what to do, have never done physical activity before, and are still struggling with all the things that I was struggling with at that time. So that was when I decided Off the Track Training had to happen, and I went back and I just started contacting people like, do you want me to help you get fit? And because I wanted a training group. I wanted people to connect with.
You were a school teacher, weren't you, originally? So did that help you put that formula together and help
make those? Yeah, it did. I think I had been working at a small school in the community, so I knew what people were struggling with. And so I just called those friends first and said, look, you know how I'm into this health and fitness gig? Well, I need a training partner. How about I write you a program and we do it together? And just by establishing that little bit of connection and accountability, you start to feel like, I'm not doing it alone. This is our session for today and we're doing it together.
Yeah. And, like when you're in town, it's kind of a little bit glamorous in a way, isn't it? I'm heading to the gym. And then there's all that wonderful equipment, or if you go for a run, you can go for a run down a road that has beautiful homes and beautiful gardens. But when you're running in the bush, and like you said, you've got flies and dirt, dust, and hit a patch of sand, and it's not always easy. And apart from that, when you're starting from scratch again, or from scratch, at the beginning, it's really hard, isn't it, to make that first step? So and get people going. So how do you get around that, Joy? Like, how do you?
Well, that is the trickiest part. Is first of all, people have to acknowledge that they want it, that they want anything different. That is a big enough step, because a lot of the time we don't acknowledge that we deserve anything different, or that we have time for anything different, or that we can feel any different. Because we get used to not being able to do stuff. We get used to feeling tired. We get used to feeling strung out, and we think, how can I possibly fit another fitness session in? I'm already working daylight to dusk. How is this going to help me? So it's getting over those barriers that is the first step. Once you can acknowledge that self-care is not selfish, that if you want to be able to work hard, that if you want to be the best parent, if you want to be on top of your business, absolutely looking after yourself is the first fundamental thing you must do. Without that, it doesn't matter if you're broke. It doesn't matter if you're, you're in drought or not. You have to look after your health of yourself and your family first and foremost. That's what I believe, because at the end of the day, if we don't have that, that's when people actually start to wake up. They think, I'm actually sick. I thought the drought was bad, but I'm really sick. And that's a turning point for a lot of people on the land especially. But when you are starting out, first of all, the belief in that it is important, and understanding it's not always going to be easy. I used to think of all of the challenges associated with being on a property. Now I think of all of the absolute gifts. You know, in comparison to how you exercise in the city. You go there and there's traffic, and you're to a gym schedule. You've got to do it at that time.
Yeah.
You've got to fit in with the trainer. The best thing about what we do is that it fits with life. And when it fits with life, it doesn't matter what's happening in life, you can still be fit.
Yeah. And Joy, when you first start using different muscles, you know, we ride, so, but if I haven't been for a run for a while and I start to run, I get, you know, really sore, not using those muscles. So, and that can go on for a few weeks.
Definitely.
So, and you think you're not getting anywhere. So, what do you say to people then? Because they must, you get to that point, you think, oh, this is just not getting better.
Be patient with progress is the number one thing. If I hopped on a horse now, I'd feel like you would if you went out for a run. So your body becomes very efficient at what it's always done. And, you know, people on the land work hard and they get used to that. But when you start, you know, like you say, using different muscles, it's like if you had a big break from riding horses and got back on, it'd be a huge workout. Yeah. So being patient with progress is absolutely number one important. We don't do boot camps. We don't do overnight success. We don't do magic pills or silver bullets. Our philosophy is that you have to be looking at the long game. This is something that needs to fit in with your life for life. Because when it's something just like brushing your teeth and putting on your undies, when it's something like that, you do it, and consistency always wins. You will get results, and you will keep those good habits, and you will keep those changes forever. You'll go up and down all of the time, but that's just the nature of the journey.
And Joy, when someone's first starting out and say they haven't done it, you know, been exercising for a number of years or whatever, do you start them off like just say for 10 minutes every day and then build that up, or how does your program work?
Very much like that. We're a program that is applicable to any fitness level, no matter where you live, anytime. But we make sure that it's modifiable, so to speak, for anybody. But it is just about doing something rather than nothing. So we have a daily exercise and stretch, just that one exercise, one stretch every day. And there is benefits to that physically, but there's more benefits in the sense that our mindset gets used to achieving. Because that little bit, you do it every day, it's 110% achievable. That actually reinforces your belief that you can do it. So it's to do that, and then there's a couple of sessions.
How long do you think that takes before that reinforcement?
You have to give it 12 weeks. But people often feel great even in the first week because they go, I'm actually doing something and I feel good for it. You know that feeling you get, Kelly, when you look in the mirror or you put on a pair of jeans and you feel like this, and then you go for a run or a walk and you come back and you feel like you've just completely changed and nothing else has changed except for your mind. So that's what exercise does. It enables us to see things differently.
I think it's really important for people to know how long it's going to take before they break through to that next level of feeling better, because if they're 3 weeks into it, it would be easy to give up if they feel like they're not getting anywhere. And Joy, I know you also focus a lot on diet, so how important is that mind, body focus and the exercise and what we put into our body? How does that all work together and for our mental health?
Yeah, definitely. Nutrition is critical. Exercise, they say, is like the gate opener. So when you exercise, you actually want to eat healthier because it's a relationship that is very close. Nutrition is absolutely critical. You can't outrun a bad diet. You really can't. Nutrition is actually a harder thing to change what you're eating than it is to what you're doing. Anybody can go out for a 10-minute run and a 10-minute walk or fit in fitness. They usually can. Changing long-term sugar cravings, emotional eating habits, hormonal influences in your diet and, with your diet and things like that, the gut health, those sorts of things, definitely it's harder for people to grasp because a lot of those habits I've had since I was kids. And so it's just about chipping away at the big things first. Like we always look at sugars, we always look at carbohydrates, and we always look at vegetables. Like they're the big ticket things. If you can get those right, then you might go a bit more specific into hormonal health, gut health, skin health, brain health, all those sorts of things. Luckily, I work with a naturopath nutritionist who is on the money with this stuff. So there's a lot of different pieces that need to fit together for you to be holistically healthy and fit. Doesn't mean you have to give up every bit of bad food in your life, or it doesn't mean you have to completely reshape your lifestyle. It just means you have to keep on making those small, subtle changes that do really make a big difference.
And Joy, with food, like it's not always easy for us where we live to get fresh fruit and vegetables. So how do you get around that?
Well, I wish I was a better gardener. I really do. And I wish I had better water. I was like, I could blame the water. It's just basically my lack of digging.
No green.
We just have to do the best with what we've got.
Yeah.
I always just have one plot that's got leafy greens in it. And
that's a good idea.
I just stick to the simple things. Like if you're going to really supercharge up your diet, you need to look for leafy greens, and they're usually the thing that looks a bit doughy at some of our supermarkets because they need to be sort of fresher. So I just tick that box. And whatever's seasonal, like don't buy stuff from the supermarket that you know has been in cold storage for months and months. Go for what's in season, and you'll be sure to just be edging your way forward in the quality.
Thanks, Joy. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And you do a lot of public speaking too. So what's the main message, I guess, that you impart to people or you want people to take home from?
Yeah. There's lots, but I suppose the one that springs to mind recently is because it's really around self-care. We've run a lot of programs over the time in Off the Track Training, and our most successful one was the self-care program. Mainly because we realised that people had so much difficulty, and we do too, in prioritising themselves as a critical element in their lives above kids. I know that might sound a bit odd, but kids, business, they just were putting themselves at the bottom of the to-do list all of the time. And they didn't know what or how to take care of themselves and why that was so important. And a lot of people think self-care is about just going to get your nails done or drinking a bottle of wine. Self-care is about showing up in your life at your absolute best. And if you want to do that, then you need to absolutely 100% believe in the ability for you to, one, rest and recharge, sleep well, eat well, exercise beneficially for you, and to be in just that really good mental state where you know that you've got control over whatever happens. That's a really powerful thing. So self-care is something that's really important to us at the moment, and something I think people need to hear more about. So I'd leave you with that.
I remember, just on that note, when I had my first child, which was 21 years ago, someone gave me a little fridge magnet. It had this cranky old woman with a rolling pin on it, and it said, if Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And I've always remembered that. That's so true. If people want to find out more about you, how do they find you?
Best place is just offthetracktraining.com.au, but you can also send an email to support@offthetracktraining.com.au, and it's still a person behind that. It's not automated. So yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
Thanks, George. Thank you. Thanks so much for watching our video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please try to remember to just click on the subscribe button so we can keep you updated with everything that's happening. Thank you.